All right, so I've started the disassembly of the engine bay. Most of this is real simple stuff. You got to remove all the wiring harnesses, disconnect them from the engine. I took out the fan just to give me more room working in here, and I may take the radiator out, but if not, I'm going to cover it with some cardboard so when I'm lifting the engine, there's no accidents that puncture the radiator. That would be bad. According to Hyundai technical documents, the engine comes out the bottom with the transmission. You got to drop the subframe, then lift the whole chassis up. That might be a requirement for the V6, but I'm telling you, the four-cylinder, it's not going to be a problem. There's a lot of room on both sides. There's plenty of clearance. So what I am going to do to save some of the mess is I'm going to remove the power steering pump, but leave it connected. I'm going to remove the air conditioning compressor off the engine block down below, and I'm going to leave it connected. Because in the tech manual, it has you disconnecting all those, which means, loss of fluids and messy and all that stuff. So those are going to come off. It's just a quick view. So I'd rather not lose all the air conditioning refrigerant, sorry. And on the back side, the key item down there, which you really can't see, but the bottom of the exhaust manifold connects to the first pipe down there. Probably end up having to cut that with a cutting wheel, cut the bolts off. But so far, things are moving slow. All these connectors are super pain in the butt to remove. They're so tedious. Now, Hyundai does a good job of making almost every connector a different shape and a different clip style. It's going to be pretty hard to screw up reassembly. I did tag one wire, though. This is for the power steering. It goes way back there. So it might be confusing because of how long it is. I don't know, there's a couple sensors back there. So that's the only one I've had to label so far. Taking the battery box out, air intake, blah, blah, blah. Moving along. Nice. Yeah, it turns out that I just decided to remove the power steering hose from the pump. There's no pressure on it, so there was no leakage to speak of. And so that's fine. And now I'm draining the radiator. And it's time to take all these hoses off. We got hoses that go out to the firewall for the heat exchanger inside. So it's moving along. Oh, the fuel rail here. Just separated the fuel rail, left it connected to the injectors. Again, working at separating all these components here. As expected, the air conditioning compressor was super easy to take out. 4 bolts. And I'm just hanging it there, and I'm not disconnecting it. It's nice and clear. So that engine will pull real easy on that. All the cooling lines are removed. Making progress. Alright, the starter, it's actually kind of hidden. It's under the intake manifold, and there's this plate right there you got to remove, and that also has a connector to the alternator. So 2 bolts on the transmission side, on the bell housing side, right there, nice and easy. And this part's out of the way. Alright, so now I've been looking underneath, and I keep saying I'll be able to pull this guy from the top, and I'm thinking I'm going to separate the transmission. But that might not be enough room to, to move the engine that way. So the worst case scenario is I have to loosen the mounts on the transmission and give a little play to give me a little bit of play. I also got to deal with the axles. So I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Well, I was hoping I wouldn't have to pull the axle out, but the exhaust pipe where it separates down at the bottom of the header, I can't get to it. I can't separate it. If I had a acetylene torch, I could probably just get in there and cut the pipe, but I don't. So I drained the transmission. I separated this side of the axle. Really easy. And I'm going to pull the axle out and give myself a lot more room to work with. Let me show you what I'm working with down there. And before I go under there, the transmission fluid was black. That, pretty nasty. Okay, so here's the passenger side. There's the axle, and there's the joint on the exhaust manifold, the header, that I want to separate. I can't get in there, so here's the transaxle. Got to pull this axle out, and that'll give me some more working room. Maybe I can accomplish my task. And after doing a lot of sawzall and grinding wheel, managed to get that off there. Had to remove the axle, as you saw, remove that plate. It's a pain in the butt. It's done. Okay, I think I said I'm done for today like 3 times. I'm actually done for today.